I'm trying to get my, I'm trying to get it together here. I've got a new microphone for the, for Instagram instead of my headset. I'm using that. We'll see how it goes. Let me get Instagram going and then we'll be all in gear. How are you? Good to see you. Hi, Justin. Hi, Chris. Okay, I'm going to put in the connection, the link, the connection. Do I know how to work the internet? I don't know. I'm going to put in the link on the comments in the chat. Oops. I'm going to put in the link for our video afterwards. Today, we're going to have another premiere. I missed you guys last week. I was at a party last week. What can I say? I was having fun. All right, let me get that. Let me get that. Copy. All right. So, okay, here in the chat, I'm going to put the link to the video we're going to have. There it is. We're going to have a video. So if you guys on Instagram, over on YouTube at 6 o'clock, we have 15 minutes and then we have a premiere at 6:15. The video this week is going to be on, let me think about it. It's going to be on Stop Gossip Spell to show you how to do a Stop Gossip Spell. So if you have people that are talking behind your back, stirring the pot, doing any of that, you're going to want to see this spell. Next week, the premiere of the video is going to be on personal concerns, working with personal concerns. So every Sunday after we have here, we move over to YouTube, or the YouTube people, you move to a new channel. On YouTube, you move to that link that I put in the YouTube chat, and we're going to have a video. So it's good to see you guys. Hey, everybody. Hello, hello. So you know how it works here. You put a question in, and we get to everybody's questions, as many as we can get to. I'm going to tell you something. There's a little, you know how like you go to In-N-Out Burger, and there's a secret menu. You can order a grilled cheese. You can order it animal style. You can do 4x4. You can do all that stuff. There's a secret menu here. If you don't get your question in, you know, we have a lot of people asking a lot of questions, and I usually get to about a half dozen on each side of Instagram and YouTube. You can go over to the premiere on YouTube, and we have a chat going. And I will tell you that I get to everybody's questions over there because we have a smaller group that shows up for that that premiere, and I answer questions during those 15 minutes while we wait for the video to come up. So if you get your question in today and you get your answer, great. But if you don't get your answer and you have a question, take it on over to the premiere of the video and ask your question in chat there, and I'll answer those questions over there. So it's like the secret menu. If you want to get your question in and you don't get it in, you can go over there and get it in. All right. So, let's look at what we've got going on. What else is going on before we get into the questions? Very exciting news. There's going to be a big party January 5th at my shop in Los Angeles. And we're going to have a virtual party and also on YouTube, where we're going to have a live feed going of the party on January 5th. And January 5th is going to be the premiere, the introduction, the launch of my line of oils that I'm doing, that I'm creating here. They're amazing oils. They smell amazing. They work amazing. These are amazing magical oils, and we're launching them on January 5th. So you will for sure want to join us for that. If you aren't signed up for my newsletter, please go to my website, parlorofwonders.com, and sign up for my newsletter, because there's going to be information on how on purchases that are made on January 5th, you can get a little extra something with your purchase if you order your oils on January 5th, our launch date. So there's going to be all kinds of information. So if you aren't on the newsletter, get on that, and I'll be putting out an announcement in a week or two about that party and about the special that I'm going to be doing. All right, so let's get what else is going on. January 7th through 11th, the retreat is happening at my shop in Los Angeles. We also have a virtual retreat. If you can't get to Los Angeles and you'd like to sign up for the retreat, I'm going to extend a special deal for you guys. The retreat is $795, but I'm going to extend just for one more week. I'm going to extend the discount where it's $500 for the week of learning about mojo bags, learning about candle magic, learning about working with herbs, learning about how to make a jack ball, learning about working with divination tools, all kinds of things magical. This is your really intensive. This is a one-time. I'm never going to do this again. I'm never offering it again. I'm never doing it again. So if you want to come and study with me, this is your one time and one time only, your one opportunity. And if you do it, you can either do it virtually or you can do it on live in Los Angeles. So all you people in Los Angeles, if you can do it, great. If you can't do it, if you can't take that week off, then you can do the virtual one where if you can't be there live watching it, you'll get recordings of it and you can watch it later. And it's only going to be one time that I'm offering this. So I'm going to put up that discount code. Let's see. I can tell you what the discount code will be. I'm going to make up the discount code right now. It's going to be called Tea Party Plus. That's what we're going to call it. Tea Party Plus, all one word, all caps. And as soon as I'm done here, I'll go ahead and make that discount code to get you into the retreat for $500 instead of $795. So it's almost half off. It's a pretty good deal. All right, let's get to the questions. Let's start on Instagram today. Hello, Instagram people. I know I missed seeing you guys last week. I just got it. Cody Carr says, I missed you. Yeah, I missed you guys too. I was at a party. My boyfriend was in a play, and it was the closing night of his play, and there was a party, and so I had to take the night off. So I didn't get to see you guys, but I'm back. Automatic Paradise has a question. Hi, everybody over on Instagram, and I see all those highs and those waves. It's so sweet to see you. Automatic Paradise says, hi, Pamita. What does it mean if you never see any sign after spell work is finished? Thanks. That is a fabulous question. And it happens, right? It's just, here's what you need to get a conceptual thing about magical work. Conceptually, magical work is a bit like going to the doctor, right? When you go to a reader or a root worker or somebody prescribes something, or you go online and find your diagnosis and you come up with a solution yourself, you are going to either see a result or you're not going to see a result, right? So let's say, for example, you go to a root worker or you go to a reader and the reader says, okay, looking at your situation through my divination tools or through my tools, I see that what you need is a reconciliation spell. All right, you need you want to get back together with this person. You want to see a reconciliation. So this is my recommendation. And you do that reconciliation spell, or they do that reconciliation spell, and you don't see any signs. You don't see any signs. You definitely don't see any movement. You don't see any result, right? Does that mean that the reconciliation isn't possible, or the reconciliation it isn't happening, obviously, but you need to get something else. You don't want to go into the place where you're defeated by that and go, oh my God, this is terrible. Nothing's ever going to get us back together again. When you don't see signs, when you don't see movement, or when you don't see a result, it means you need to go back and either do it again, or you need to do something else, right? Sometimes people, this isn't a great example, actually. Sometimes people think, oh, I need to do a come to me spell to get this person to come to me. But if you go to a reader or somebody that is seeing the situation, they may say, you need to do some cleansing on this relationship, or I see some person interfering and we need to do a reversing spell on this, this work that somebody's doing to keep the two of you apart, or whatever it is. So you may think you need to have a come to me spell, or you may think you just have to do a love candle or something like that, but there may be some other things in play. And that's why going to get a reading, I recommend it. If you have a reading, you can see, your reader may be able to see things from that spiritual perspective. If you've got a talented reader, they can see things from the spiritual perspective that you can't see. It's just like going to the doctor, right? You get a symptom and you start looking online and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to die. You know, this is happening. And I'm seeing all these bad things that can be. But when you go to the doctor, someone who's knowledgeable about the situation, who can see it with their experience and their perspective and their knowledge, they can see, oh, this is the situation, this is what it needs, and this is how we are going to work on it. Now, no doctor that I know of will say, I 100% guarantee that if you do this, if you take this pill or you do this treatment, that you're going to see a cure. They are looking at your situation and they're saying, from what I understand, from what things are showing me, this looks like the best treatment for your situation. And try that. And if it doesn't work, come back to me and we'll try another thing. That's how doctors work, right? It's the same thing with a root doctor. It's the same thing with a root worker. It's the same thing with someone who is advising you on spell work to do. We're looking at things from a perspective and we are looking at how we can best approach it. But if it doesn't work, then either A, if you, and I would trust your intuition, maybe this isn't the right root worker for you. Maybe this isn't the right advice for you. Maybe you need to get a second opinion. Just like if you're going to the doctor, you would get a second opinion. Okay, my other doctor told me this and I'm not seeing a result. What do you think? And maybe your other doctor, your other root worker, your other, tarot reader has a better piece of advice for you. Or maybe they're going to confirm what they say, but maybe there's a better approach to it. Maybe this is a messy situation and we need to address it from a lot of angles. And maybe we need to do something in preparation to do the work. This is why I say a complete spell cycle. If we look at a complete spell cycle, first we do a cleanup and then we do the projection of what it is that we want. We see this in the example of working with the moon. In the moon, I'm going to turn the light on a little bit more because I see the Instagram is looking a little dark there. And we look at the cycle of the moon has a time when the moon is getting smaller and smaller. And then we also have a time when the moon is getting bigger and bigger. The time when the moon is getting smaller, the waning moon, the moon is getting smaller, is the time that you release things, you get rid of things. Right? You want to release something to put something in. So if like you are wanting to have a more prosperity, you release poverty to clear the space and poverty consciousness and blocks to your abundance and all of that stuff. And then after the new moon, when the moon is starting to get bigger and bigger, that is when you can do that increase work. That's when you can do the inviting the prosperity, inviting the wealth, and so on. So if you're not seeing, back to your question, if you're not seeing automatic paradise, some result or some sign or some movement on your spell work, the first thing I would say is get some advice on your situation. You might want to consult with a reader or a root worker or something like that to see what they see about the situation, because you might get better advice than you'd find like if you were looking online, right? Just, like same thing with medical advice. Number 2, try something different. If you are, working with a come to me spell and you're not seeing a result, maybe you need to do a spiritual cleansing. Maybe you need to do a blockbuster to break down the blocks and the barriers, or maybe you need to do some kind of tranquility work or something like that. So depending on your situation, getting some advice from someone may be helpful. Or if you don't want to go that route and you still want to do it on your own, try something different and see if you get a different result. I wouldn't recommend keep doing the same thing if you're not getting a result from it. Try something different, approach it from a different angle. And so, it's not uncommon, just like when you go to the doctor, sometimes you take medicine and it doesn't do any result and you have to try a different medication. I mean, I think that's pretty, familiar to everyone. And so, I think the most important thing, whether it's working with a reader and a root worker doing magical work or medical, is that you advocate for yourself, that you take the initiative, that you keep going until you get the result, that you keep trying different things until you get that result. And then you'll start to, you'll start to see, you'll know when you see signs, you'll know when you see movement that you've hit on the right thing. That's my recommendation. All right. Looking over at YouTube. Hi, everybody. If you go onto YouTube and you look in the chat up toward the top, you'll see something put there by me. There's a link. That's the link to our video that we're going to premiere tonight, which is a stop gossip spell. So, all right. Bradley Dean. Hi, Bradley. You're waiting on my visa tomorrow, waiting to ensure an approval. Tips on spells. Okay. So when you're wanting, I don't know your specific situation and I am not doing a reading for you, so I can't advise you particularly on your situation. Like, I don't know exactly what's going to be helpful for you. But if we look at where we are trying to get something to be approved or something to open up, then what we're looking at is like road opener work or blockbuster work, depending on the level of difficulty. Road opener, let's talk about road opener versus blockbuster. Road opener work is to remove and push aside anything that would be blocking us from having a clear, straight shot, ease, and movement going forward, right? We want to see things move effortlessly, no hiccups, no hurdles, none of that stuff, right? So road opener is to ease that road, to open that road. But sometimes we can do a road opener, or sometimes we have a situation where it's really, 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 really blocked. And in a situation where there are heavy blocks, then we do blockbuster. So blockbuster is like dynamite to remove the heavy blocks that are in our way from getting what it is that we're wanting. Why would we choose road opener? Why would we choose blockbuster? If your situation is not heavily blocked, or if you don't even know if your situation is blocked, start with road opener, because road opener is gentler. It's like pushing aside things. So you're not going to have necessarily the explosive nature of blockbuster. Imagine taking, pushing aside the branches and the trees to get through a path in the woods, right? That's road opener. It's pushing aside things. So you're not disturbing a lot of energy. You're not creating a lot of hubbub. You're not creating chaos. Blockbuster, on the other hand, has a more explosive nature. And so there can be a kind of reverberation or an echo of that explosive nature. If you're pushing, if you're dynamiting something, you're going to see rubble, right? That you have to clear then the rubble too, possibly. So I reserve blockbuster use for only the most blocked situations where you've tried and you've tried and you've tried and you haven't been able to get through. So in your situation, if you've been trying to get a visa and you keep getting thwarted and you keep getting blocked, then blockbuster is the solution. A blockbuster candle, blockbuster oil, working with a blockbuster, bath. You could do a bath using blockbuster oil in your bath and so on. But if this is your first time, everything has gone smoothly so far, but you just want to make sure that there are no blocks, that there are no hiccups, then I would recommend working with road opener. And road opener is just nicely clearing the path for you to have that straight shot to your success of whatever kind. So there you go. All right. Let's look over at Instagram. Hello, everybody. Do spirits, this is Ismael Serrano. Hi, Ismael. Do spirits move spell work quicker than not working with spirits? It's assistance. Spirit, I'm saying like, well, how do I define this? Working with your spirit guides and working with your spirit guide council is working with assistance. So depending on your take, if you have a connection to your spirit guides, if you have a connection to spirits, then you can invite in your spirit guide council, your positive spirits, your highest spirits, your best spirits to come in and assist you. And they will assist you and they will help move things forward. It's like having help. Like if you're packing up because you're moving house, if you do it yourself, can you do it yourself? Are there advantages to doing it yourself? Maybe you'll know where everything is. You can organize it how you want it, etc. But it's a lot harder work. If you ask your spirits to come in, they're going to move things forward. I mean, they're definitely going to be there to help you. And I'm trying to think, is there a situation where I wouldn't ask for spirit help? I really can't think. I'm sure there are situations where maybe it wouldn't benefit, or maybe if you wanted to be involved or have the gratification of doing it yourself, I guess that would be a situation. But in general, your guide council is there to help you, and they can only offer assistance that is going to help you get to what it is that you are wanting. By the way, you don't need to know who your spirit guides are, or even know their names or know anything about them to ask for their help. So if you are not a spiritualist and you're not used to working with your spirits, do you go like, oh my gosh, I don't know who to call on? You just call on the spirit that's going to be most helpful in your situation. So, I'm looking for a new job and I need to find a new job, and spirit guides, my spirit guide council, will the spirits who are most helpful for me in finding this new job, will you come forward and help me with this? That's the prayer that I would say, that's the request that I would make of my guide council without even having to know who that guide is or what their name is or anything. You can ask for their help with things. So I think in most situations, you're going to have assistance and helping move things forward. But remember, whenever you're working with, with spirit or with spirits, there's a part of it that you can't just sit back on your butt and do nothing. Most things require that you do some action on the material level, and they will help line things up on the spiritual level. And the combination of that two will move things forward much faster than if you're just doing things on the material level on your own, or for sure, if you're just sitting back and like saying, do it. And, I'm going to sit back here and do nothing. So I think it's the combination of you putting in the effort and doing the work and taking some effort on the material level along with their assistance on the spiritual level that makes it the magic combination. So probably in most cases, I'd say the vast majority of cases, it's going to help if you are connected to your spirit guides and you like working with spirits, then inviting them to help is going to be better. It's going to be faster. I thought you were off to watch Your Love in a Play. Yes, that was last week. Irish-ish Christmas. It's hard to say Irish-ish Christmas. Yeah, I was off. That was last week. I was off to see my love in the play. He was in his last show, and then, we had a party afterwards. Okay. Kimberly Myers. Hello. Hello. Question. Is it okay to layer oils on the body for daily use? I have cut and clear oil and come to me oil used for a release and restore spell, but I'm using Van oil for a different spell. Yeah, absolutely. So here's what I would recommend. If the only kind of caveat I would say with working with multiple oils on multiple issues and you're putting them on yourself is do all your clearing oils first and then do your invoking, inviting oils second. So if you're working with Van and you're working with cut and clear, which are both clearing oils, you apply those to yourself in a downward motion. When you're applying oils to your body, you just put a couple drops on your hands and then you run your hands over your body in a direction. So if you're releasing something, getting rid of something, put a couple drops on your hands and then put it on yourself in a downward motion. Now you've got two intentions. It looks like the Van is probably one intention and the cut and clear is an entirely different intention. So in that case, I would say, do your cut and clear. I'm going to release all the attachments to unhealthy relationships and all of that. Do your Van. I'm going to release any bad luck or negativity that I picked up along the way. And now do your couple drops of come to me. Put the come to me on yourself in an upward motion. I'm inviting in my perfect relationship, my perfect partner, whatever it is that you're inviting in. Okay. So that's how I would work with it. What I wouldn't do is to put cut and clear, come to me up, Van down. It's like too much up and down. Like you want to do all your down first and all your up last so that you're not clearing off the cut and clear. I mean, you're not with the Van, you're not wiping off the come to me work. You do your cleansing first and then you do it. Just like taking a shower and then you're going to put on your lotion. You're not going to take a shower, put on your lotion and then take another shower, right? Because then you washed off all the lotion. So a little conceptually like that. You want to think of it that way, but no problem doing multiple things. People do that. People would put on, I'm going to put on a prosperity oil, but I'm also going to put on an attraction oil for, bringing opportunity, love to me. And then I'm going to put on road opener to make my opportunities show up and all of that. So you see, you can put multiple oils on for multiple intentions, but just make sure you put the clearing oils first, all the clearing oils first, and then you can do your bringing in invoking oils second. Okay, so what do we have over on Instagram? Oh, sweet. Relmar Cat says, can't wait for my line of oils. That's very sweet. I'm excited about it. They smell amazing. They work amazing. You guys are going to love them. Super excited about them. All right. Let's see what we got over here. Guy Liner Bebop has a question. How can I get over feeling that I want to quit? Tonight, I really wanted to die. I wrote stuff down. I feel less suicidal. I'm a male, which I'm a good person. Okay, so if you are in a situation where you are feeling suicidal or you're feeling that you want to give up, the very first thing that I would do is to stop and to reach out to someone, because there are resources. And I know it's probably a hurdle to reach out, but there's suicide hotlines where you can call anonymously. You don't have to share your information. They don't have to know who you are, but you can get some very practical, good advice from people who are experienced, who know what, to help you to manage and get through these feelings. I think it's really important that you know that suicide isn't a solution, because it's not solving the problem. Um, it's ending it's an idea to end the pain, and find relief from the pain that you're experiencing, but it's really not a solution for the pain. And most certainly it's not the only solution. And there are other solutions, whether those solutions are therapy, medication, change in diet, change in lifestyle, and other things. I mean, there are solutions. There are solutions that aren't suicide. And I want you to know that. And I want, if you have friends, I think that brings up a topic, I think that, it's useful for all of us to know, not just those of us that are suffering with thoughts of suicide, suicidal ideas or suicidal thoughts, but those of us that love people who are dealing with this. If you have someone in your life, this is going out to the people that have someone in their life that may be suicidal. I think the first thing you need to do in that intervention with someone who's telling you that they're suicidal is first find out, do they have a plan for committing suicide? That's your very key question. Because if someone is just feeling suicidal or are thinking like, I just want to end it, but they don't have a plan, that's a good thing. If they don't know how they're going to do it and they don't have a real concrete plan, that really just means that they're in pain, but they're not really at that stage that they're going to do it. So you don't need to panic. You do want to be there as a friend. You do want to offer help. You do want to be by their side. And you want to remind them that there are other solutions other than suicide. If someone that you love or you care about is saying, I want to commit suicide and I have a plan, then you, the friend, need to jump into action, and you need to find out, I would recommend as the friend that you call a suicide hotline and you tell the suicide hotline, I have somebody who's saying that they're going to commit suicide. They're going to do this, that, and the other, and this is how they're going to do it. And that suicide hotline will help you to navigate how to work with that friend. So I think it's really serious. This time of year is a really intense time of year. It's the winter solstice. It's a time when there's a lot of seasonal affective disorder. There's the holidays. There's all this stuff that's going on that can be very emotionally intense. And, a lot of people get suicidal during this time because they feel like they don't have support. They don't feel loved. They don't have everything that everybody else has. Their life is a struggle and all of these other things. For you, Guyliner Bebop, first of all, you want to do self-care and you want to think about what it is that's going to give you relief that isn't suicide. So whether that is talking to a friend, taking a bath, doing some kind of, magical work can be very helpful. I don't think magical work is the entire solution for it. There's definitely other things that can be very, very helpful, like, therapy and so on, and dealing with the issues, the underlying issues of why you feel suicidal and why you feel unhappy. And there are solutions for that. So if you feel lonely, if you feel unloved, if you feel you're having physical pain or any of these other things, it's getting somebody at your side that's going to help you to navigate. And if it's a friend, great. If it's a therapist, great. If it's somebody on a suicide hotline, great. But you can get to a place where you find the solution. It sounds like you already found somewhat of a solution, which is writing things out. On a magical level, I think bathing is really good. Doing a cleansing bath is really good. A handful of sea salt, a handful of Epsom salt. Get into the bath. Cry if you need to cry in that bath. But in that intention of that bath, you release and let go of the pain. You do the work to do that. And I think that is a great support in addition to therapy, friends, suicide hotline, getting on meds, or whatever it is that's going to bring you the relief. You aren't alone. And there are options for you other than suicide. So that's what I really, really want you to know, is that you can find relief, and you can find relief other than ending your life. I don't think that solves the problem. It isn't a solution, and there's a way out of the maze for you. And so maybe you need someone at your side that's helping you and guiding you. And I would just take that little extra step, take that thing to reach out to someone. There's some beautiful things right now, like where you can, if you don't feel comfortable talking on the phone to someone, which sometimes people don't feel comfortable talking about, there's text help. And you can look at that. And I'm sure one of you guys is already on there in the chat, putting in that information on the suicide crisis hotline numbers and the text chat suicide, prevention and all of that. So whatever it is that you're going through, there are people out there that care and people out there that want to help you and people that can actually help you get to that place of finding relief from the pain that you're feeling. So there is relief. There is something that will get you into a better place. And all you have to do is just take that one little step, which is to reach out and to ask for the help. And I know you're asking here, which is great. So I know that you can ask. So get to that place where you're getting help for your specific thing, whatever it is that you're dealing with, whatever it is that you're going through, and you can find it. Okay. All right. I believe in you, and I know there's going to be a relief, and you have a gift to give to the world, and suicide will end that gift that you have, the potential to make something beautiful in the world. So let's think about something else, another solution other than that. Okay. All right. So looking at, let's see, going over to YouTube. Here we go. All right. Confidence 77 is mirror box cursing. Hi, Confidence 77. I know who you are. Wonderful client of mine. Is mirror box cursing? Doing a mirror box. Let's talk about what doing a mirror box is. So a mirror box is to confound and confuse and sort of bounce back. It's a little bit of a reversing work and a binding work combined into one, right? So let's talk about that kind of sympathetic magic. Sympathetic magic is you're working on something to, because you don't have access to the person, you're going to work on something that symbolizes that person. A classic example of this is working with a candle that's shaped like a figural candle that's shaped like a person, right? So we can work with that as like a doll baby, or we can light that candle as representing that person, and we can work on that person. So if you don't have direct access to put something on that person or do something on it, you can work on a candle to work on that person, right? So if we have somebody who is doing some negative work toward us, who is throwing some negativity toward us, and we are blocking and defending and, putting our fiery wall of protection up and doing all this stuff, but it still keeps coming at us, we can do mirror box work to, in effect, box them up, to put them in a, to confine them and to bind them, right? To control and confine and bind. And we can also, and that mirror box, which is like a box with broken pieces of mirror on the inside. We put a little doll baby that represents the person inside of there, or some kind of image that represents the person, into the mirror box, along with whatever other stuff we want to do to it. But in essence, we're confining and binding them, and the mirrors are reflecting back to them whatever they're putting out. So imagine if you were putting out something, right? And you were in a box, you yourself were in a box of mirrors, you would put that thing out and it would bounce back to you. So the thing about a mirror box is this: there is an aspect of it that is a little gray area because you are binding somebody. But the mirror aspect only reflects back what they're putting out. So if they're not putting out any negativity, then they're not going to get any negativity back. If they're putting out good stuff, they're going to get good stuff back. So it's in some ways like a reversing work, like a reversing spell. If you do a reversing spell on someone who is not putting out any negativity, they're not going to get anything bad. So it's very kind of clean work. It's not what we would call reversing work. It's like defensive work to kind of keep them in a loop. And the same thing with a mirror box, where you're putting some kind of energy to keep them confined. That part is a little gray area, but definitely there's a clear energy about the mirror work, because if they're not putting out negativity, they're not going to get any negativity back. And so it's on that level, it's kind of safe. So I mean, that's level, it is very safe because you're not cursing someone. You're just reflecting back their own energy. The binding is a little gray area because you're stopping them or you're confining them. And that is not cursing exactly, but it's not as clean as like a reversing spell. So, I would say this with my kind of ethics and where I am with it all. If I were going to do a mirror box, which I don't do mirror boxes, but if I were going to do one, I would do a hyssop cleanse afterwards, because that gray area of the binding work, that gray area of the boxing them in, you want to be like really clean with it. And so that isn't quite a curse, but it isn't quite the clean work of like a reversing spell where you're just saying, okay, I am rubber, you are glue, whatever you say bounces off of me and sticks to you, right? You know, that schoolyard rhyme there. You want to send it back to them, whatever it is. If they're sending out goodness, they get goodness back. If they're sending out nothing, they get nothing back. If they're sending out a curse, they get their curse back. That's why I like to do reversing work whenever I do any working with those kinds of situations. It's not a curse. It's just, you don't touch my client and you get it back to you. So mirror boxes like that, but with the extra addition of the binding, which is a little harder, but not quite a curse, not a hard curse. All right. Let's see what we see on. All right. Yeah, guideliner bebop. I'm looking over on Instagram. You've got so much good work to do. So do some cleansing work. Reach out to someone. Reach out here. You know, people here can talk to you, and also reach out. You know, to suicide prevention hotline and text. There's a text one that you can reach out to if you don't want to talk to someone live, and you can get some strategies to get out of this situation where you feel like it's so heavy. But I would definitely, on a spiritual level, get some support by doing a cleansing bath, you know, either a wash or a bath where you work with Epsom salt and sea salt. That's all you need. That you can get at the store. If you don't have Epsom salt, just use sea salt, but do a cleansing bath to kind of release and relieve and get rid of the negativity and the bad feelings. Okay. Okay, let's look at what we've got going on. Okay. Lisa, hi, Madam Pamita. Hope you're having a fantastic holiday season. I'm on top of it this holiday season. I got all my present shopping done. I got a tree up, had a party. I've been going to parties. I've been handling it and on top of it. Usually I'm kind of a little more last minute, but this year I kind of got started early and got everything done. And so it's stress-free, which is good during this time. Okay, let's see what else we got going on. Okay. TKO 1111. Hi, my relationship got worse when I did numerous love spells for my beloved. We got worse and he got worse. How can I clear everything? Okay. This is a situation of understanding how magic works, right? When you do a spell, this is the misconception that people have is that if I do a spell and it can backfire and make things worse, right? If I do a love spell and I don't do it exactly right, or I'm doing a spell and I'm not supposed to be doing a spell, this is somehow going to backfire and make things worse, right? So that's not the case. That's not true. So if you do, for example, let's say you do a spell, but you totally screw it up. You blow out the candle, you do this. You're never going to go, you're ending the spell. Let's say you're not going to go backwards with your relationship. You're not going to go make things worse with your relationship. You're either going to improve things with the relationship or just be where you were before. If things are going bad with your relationship, don't correlate that with your spell work, because that's not the case. The spell work is working, either it's working and making a plus, or you're staying where you were before, but it is not going to send things backwards. All right. That's a thing. I don't know how this rumor got started or how this idea got started, or if people were sending out some weird propaganda to like, you can't do a spell, only I can do a spell for you, because if you do it, it might backfire. I don't know if that was what the thing was that got this rumor started, but this is not true. Spell work can only improve things or do nothing. And that's what you're going to see. So if you do some spell work on your relationship and things get worse, it's not to do with the spell. It's something else. Now you have to define what it is. Is it that somebody is interfering and that you're getting some kind of interference, like somebody wants to break the two of you up, or there's something else going on? Is it that there's some negativity? Is it that these issues need to be addressed and your spell work actually opened up the ability for you to address these situations and work these out so that your relationship could go forward? You know, I don't know the details of your particular situation, but I do know that spell work cannot send, even if you screw up a spell entirely, even if you think I can't be doing this, I'm manipulating, I'm working my will, or whatever it is that you believe about it, it's not going to send things backward in your relationship. It's not going to send things backward in your prosperity. It's not going to send things backward in your protection. It's not going to send things backwards in your career or whatever it is that you're working on, right? Spell work can only improve things or neutral, do nothing. So if you are having a situation in a relationship, you need to look elsewhere than the spell work, what the situation was. That very well may be that spell work is opening up something that needs to be looked at. If you're doing a spell for love, for example, I don't know your situation. So I don't know if this is going to address your situation or not, but let's say I'm doing a spell because I want my partner and I to be like an amazing couple, and this is going to be the best relationship ever, and I want to put energy toward that. And let's say we have a big blow up fight, or my partner reveals to me something really awful about him or her, or, something happens that's a bad thing happening. Maybe from a bird's eye view, from a higher view, from the higher spiritual view, maybe this is showing you that this person isn't your partner. This person isn't your be all and your end all. And this person isn't the person you're meant to be with. If they're showing you who they are and they're showing you they're an awful person, or you two are not seeing eye to eye and you're battling it out, maybe that's what needs to happen so that you can let go and you can move on and you can get together with that person that's your perfect partner. So I always kind of reserve that judgment about this thing being a bad thing until I can look at it from a higher spiritual perspective. And I will say that looking and saying, I did a spell and that spell destroyed my relationship, you're making an artificial correlation that doesn't exist. Spell work can't do that. Spell work can't destroy your relationship unless you're cursing your relationship. Now, if you're doing a curse on your relationship, then yes, you're going to get that end result. But if you are doing something positive for your relationship, it can only produce positive results or no result. And so if the relationship is falling apart, you want to look elsewhere than the spell work. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I know. That's what I've been, my experience of doing spell work for many, many years, teaching spell work. And this is the reality of spell work. So look to other things and other possible reasons why the relationship is falling apart, rather than A, it's a bad thing, because it may not be a bad thing in the long run. And B, is it showing you something that is going to strengthen your relationship or is going to do something positive? So, this may be a situation when your relationship is falling apart that you do want to go to a reader because you want to find out the deeper significance of why this relationship is not going forward. Is somebody interfering with it? Is there some situation that you have to confront? Is there some potential spiritual growth for the two of you that's going to bring the two of you together? And that I can't tell you without a reading, or, so go to a reader, have a reading about this and find out what the real situation is. Okay. Okay. Let's see what we got going on. So just a reminder, I had a little pop-up reminding me, in 15 minutes, we're all going to adjourn over to YouTube, and there's a link that I put in the chat that talks about where to go. We're going to have a 15-minute time for chatting and talking, and a premiere of a video about how to do a stop gossip spell. So you'll want to head over there and see the stop gossip spell. We will all watch it together. It's super fun. And if you didn't get your question answered, you will get it answered over there, because we have a small group that goes over there, and I'm able to answer everybody's question over there. So if I didn't get to yours, head on over there after we're done here at 6 o'clock. All right. Let's see what we go. Stephanie Sullivan says, what spell can I do to break a cycle in a relationship? Hi, Stephanie. I would recommend doing some kind of, you start with a road opener to see if that clears the energy, or blockbuster if it doesn't. To break a cycle, you need to have a kind of clearing, cleansing, maybe a clearing and cleansing spell, spiritual cleansing spell would be good. You can do a candle, road opener candle, open roads candle, a blockbuster candle, spiritual cleansing candle, a energetic purification candle, any of those candles that, I sell them all on my site. You can get them there. You can find them at other places as well. But if you work with those kinds of things that are going to open, it's going to, instead of repeating something, you're breaking that cycle by opening things up, or by moving things aside, or by shifting the energy. I think that would be good. If it is a cycle in a relationship where you have an unhealthy attachment and you want to break free of the relationship, then cut and clear work is what you need to do. That cut and clear is to break those unhealthy attachments. It doesn't harm the other person. It doesn't harm you. It just allows you to separate and to move on, and to not feel that longing or I'm going to go back and fix it, or any of those things that aren't so helpful. All right. So, yes, Tatiana Letes put the 1-800 number for suicide prevention hotline. That's great. Thank you so much, you guys, for doing that. All righty, let's see what we've got going on. It's Jackie. Desja is Jackie. What are some examples of things spirit guides can't do for you or help you with? They guide you, but what can't they do? Well, that's a great question, because it talks about that idea of when we're working with spirit guides, whether we're working with what you would call like the over spirit or God or the universe, or we're working with our personal guide council. We're co-creating. That's an important concept. That's a concept, I'm a new thought spiritualist, right? So I do come from the law of attraction, new thought realm for sure. And I'm also a spiritualist. So I work with spirits. So this kind of question is right in my wheelhouse. So what are the things that spirit guides can't do? So when we are co-creating something, when we are putting out an intention, we're doing a spell, we're working something, we want to achieve a certain goal. The best combination is for you to be co-creating with spirit, or with your spirit guides, or whatever energy that is the spiritual energy, and you in the manifestation of physical energy. You are spirit manifested in physical form. You are an extension of the universe. You are an extension of spirit, right? But you have an advantage. You are in physical form. So the advantages to being in physical form are, number one, you are a creator. You are a manifester. That is why you come down to physical plane. The physical plane is to be a manifester, to create and expand the universe, because your creation, whatever that is, your idea, the thing that you do, the thing that you put out there, is an expansion of the universe. So you get to be a powerful force, right, in that world of the physical realm. So when you come down into physical form, it is with the idea that I'm going to create, I'm going to expand, I'm going to be joyful, I'm going to be create and making things, whatever that is. It could be a painting, it could be a friendship, it could be a community, it could be helping other people, it could be anything. These are all creation and expansion, and that is your purpose. That is what you have come down to do, is to connect to others and to create. That's your mission, everybody's mission, right? All right, so you come down here to create. You're like, you know what? I want to create, well, let's make up something. I want to create a community center that helps people that are struggling financially, that we got people there that are accountants and tax advisors and help people find jobs and whatever. This is the community center that I think in my mind would be an amazing thing to help people and to expand the universe. That's my creation. That's what I want. Now, there are material world things that you can do to do that. Right? You can look for locations. You can get the donors. You can find the people to volunteer. You can set up the nonprofit. You can do all these things on the physical realm to make this a reality. But if you invite your spirit guides in, they can put the right people in the right place at the right time. They can smooth paths. They can open doors for you. They can put you in the right circumstances, whatever it is, right? So when you co-create with spirit guides, when you co-create with the universe, there are things that you can do on the material level, action-oriented things, physical things that you can do. There are things that spirits can do that they may be able to do things faster and more efficiently on the spirit level. And when you work together to create whatever it is that you're creating, it's like the best. That's one example. I mean, I'm going to give a much more specific example. Let's say you want to make a beautiful piece of music, right? The creative Libra who's here. I don't know if he's here today, but he's a musician, right? He's one of my followers who makes music. I got other followers who make music, right? You want to create a beautiful piece of music. Now you can sweat and toil away and do all the things that you need to do. Practice your scales, practice your fingering, learn how to play an instrument. Those are all going to be things that come from your will. But when it comes to making the music, you can invite your spirit guides in to say, okay, give me some inspiration. Give me a piece. Give me some inspired energy so that I can make something beautiful. And then you will feel, all my artists and musicians out there will understand what I'm talking about. This sense of flow, that you're channeling something, something is flowing through you. And then when you look at it, then you go, oh my gosh, that's amazing. I can't believe that I made that. But I really love that thing. And it feels like I was a channel for it. So that's how you can work with spirit and everything. Now, can you channel a piece of music without learning how to play an instrument? Sure, I guess, but you're going to have a hard time recording that or creating that unless you have some medium to do it, right? So the physical work is to learn to play an instrument, to practice the instrument, to have the physical instrument in front of you so that you can do it. That's the material world work. The channeling is the aspect where spirit brings it in, right? So there's all kinds of ways that shows up. My first example, building the community center. Spirit can give you the inspiration, can put you the right people in your path, can bring you the donors, can bring you the volunteers, can put you in the right place where you see the place for rent that's going to be the center, et cetera, et cetera. Can put you in the public eye so that you get some publicity about this, so that you draw people to you. All these amazing things that can happen as you set out that intention. But to create a community center, you can't just sit in your room and do a visualization. There has to be some material thing. You have to get out into the world to see the place. You have to connect with other people. You have to be in the flow of life. So whether it's you're connecting on a material level with a musical instrument, a tool of some kind, or you're connecting with people, or you're getting in the flow of life out in the world, that is your work to do. And spirit brings in all the assistance on the spiritual level. And that's how you co-create effectively. That's why co-creating with spirit is going to always be more effective than just trying to muscle it through yourself. Spirit's going to redirect you and direct you to where you need to go. So does that answer your question? What are some examples of things spirit guides can't do for you or help you with? They guide you, but what can't they do? They can't do the physical part. They can't do the material part, right? If you sit in your room and you just start communing with your guides and you're not reaching out to other people or putting yourself in the flow where you meet other people, or you're not sitting down with an instrument or not sitting down with your paints or doing these things that are action material things, then you might get a download of a beautiful song. You might have a song in your head, but it feels like not the completion of the creation because you haven't been able to translate it. You can have the idea for the community center, but if you don't do the work to be out in the world to manifest it, then you're not going to have the community. The community center isn't going to become a reality. Of an idea of something is wonderful, but it's not a reality and not a manifestation and not a creation. So the creation part of it, they'll give you the inspiration, they'll give the circumstances, but they cannot do the creation. That is why you came into physical form. That is why you are in a body, is because you wanted to have the experience of creating and you needed to have a material means of creating. So, and it's fun to create. whatever it is, a degree for yourself, learning a skill, making something beautiful, connecting people, having a community, giving love to people, any of that stuff all relies on the physical, right? You have to have some kind of physical element to it, or it doesn't exist. It's just an idea. So there you go. That's what they can help you with. Okay, let's see. We got one more time probably for one more question. Don't forget, I'm going to put the YouTube link at the bottom of the chat now. If you want to scroll down to the bottom, YouTube video premiere is happening at 6 o'clock. Right there at the link I provided at the bottom. Okay. And that's going to be a video on how to do a stop gossip spell. So I'm going to if people are talking about you, or talking about someone you love, you want them to mind their own business. They want to get you out of your business. You want them to stop talking about you. The gossipers, all of that stuff, backbiters. Yeah, this is going to be a spell for you. Next week, we're going to premiere a video on how to work with personal concerns in magic, which is a great one. This is such a great video. I've been waiting to show this video and talk to you about personal concerns. So that'll be our topic for our video premiere next week. All right. Bobby Munster, hello. Great to see you. It's great to see you too. Thank you so much again for that beautiful candle, Bobby. Love Island, what is the best way to unblock all obstacles? We talked about that. There's two ways, road opener and blockbuster. Okay, Stephanie Salva, me and my kid's father get back and then we break up. Is there something I can do? That probably is something that's good for a reading, Stephanie, because you want to see what the source of it is, and that's something that a reader can tell you. Christy Benson says, my husband told a big lie for the last year, and even with proof, he denies it. Is there a way to make him feel my pain? Is there a way to make him feel bad? I don't know if that's a solution actually for the situation. And you may want to think about what is going to resolve the issue, the deeper issue, and look at what the pain that you're experiencing is about. Try to take a distant view, a bird's eye view of the situation, and see and make some decisions based on your higher self, if that makes sense. Try to look at this as an opportunity, and rather than I'm going to, I feel his pain and I want him to feel the pain, doesn't solve the problem. But if you're feeling that there's a communication problem between the two of you, then what you probably want to do is to look for solutions to the communication so that he's honest with you, that you can trust him again, that you can build the relationship, and maybe having that more peaceful communication, maybe with a counselor or something like that, where you can actually get to the root of why this happened and why he's lying and all of that. Maybe he's revealing to you who he is, and maybe you don't want to be with a liar. That can also be another solution for this. All right, you guys. So we come to the end of our session today. We're going to continue on over on the link that I posted at the top and the bottom of the chat over on YouTube. We're going to have a YouTube premiere at 6:15 of a video on how to stop gossip. Could be another way to stop a liar too, Christy. So maybe it's something to think about. But how to stop gossip, how to stop people talking about you. And I'll show you a video about that. We're going to have a chat over there where we talk about spell work and so on. Don't forget, I am going to have my launch of my oils on January 5th, and we're going to have that live on YouTube, but we're also going to have some specials. So if you want to know about the oils and want to know what the specials are going to be, you want to go over to parlorwonders.com and subscribe to the newsletter, and I'll give you some information. I'll be sending out some information about that. Tea Party Plus. So Tea Party, TEAPARTYPLUS is going to be the code to get $295 off of the retreat. So it's going to be $500 instead of $795 for the retreat I'm having at my shop on January 7th through 11th, whether you take it virtually or whether you take it in person with me. It's going to be a one-time thing only doing it once. Get it while it's hot, folks. And I think that's all the news. Next week, we're going to have of course, we're going to have our Q&A here, and I love seeing you guys. So I hope I see you here next week at 5:00 Pacific time. But we're also going to have the video about personal concerns at 6:15 Pacific time on YouTube. So be sure to check out that. All right, everybody, have a gorgeous week. Have a beautiful, peaceful, restful week. Be kind to yourself. It's a hard time of year. It's a lot of stress this time of year. So be kind to yourself and be kind to others. Spread love and cheer. That's what this is about. Think about A Christmas Carol and how important it is. I love that play, that movie, that book, Christmas Carol. There's a beautiful movie out. I'm going to say it. It's called The Man Who Invented Christmas. Watch it. It's about Charles Dickens and how he wrote A Christmas Carol. It's super cool. It's on Netflix or Amazon, and it's free. So if you subscribe to those. All right, guys, have a gorgeous week, and I'll see you next week on Sunday. I've got my my Instagrammers. Bye-bye, guys. Bye. There go my Instagrammers. All right, YouTubers, we're going to go over to the other side, and I'm going to go into chat. I'll see you over there. Have a great week if you don't join us over there, and we'll answer your questions over there. So just type them in the chat there. I'll see you over there. Bye.